So Christian, once again, it's great to have you there. Thank you for speaking on the main stage and attending BlockShow North America.
Thank you for having me.
Oh no, it's always a pleasure, always a pleasure. So talk to me about what's going on in the world of BlockStar now.
Sure. So BlockStar is a holding company with 3 business units. We have advisory,
right,
capital raising, and tokenization.
So as an advisor, why am I coming to you as a person in crypto and blockchain?
Absolutely. So as an advisor to BlockStar, we basically advise companies to help through their STO, securitized token offerings.
Okay.
We kind of moved away from the ICO model. Securities are going to be the big next thing here in the United States.
So that's the shift from the ICO model to security. Okay.
You know, we're one of the few companies actually in the United States with a broker-dealer license partnership, so we can handle securities.
Okay.
But also we help the middle market companies to go through what we call the blockchain transformation.
Okay, talk to me about that, what that blockchain transformation looks like. I know there's a lot of folks out there that feel that they need the blockchain just because it's a buzzword.
Right.
And how are you helping people navigate through that?
Yeah, sure. So we help established companies that, between 10 to 100 million in revenues annually to understand, kind of go through the discovery phase of, okay, where are we today?
Right.
And how can blockchain enable us to get better growth, better revenues, and so on.
What industries do you find are calling on you?
Yeah, so we've seen a lot of interest from the media, gaming space.
Okay.
We have funds that come to us to see how they can use blockchain and tokenomics and tokens to tokenize their funds. But mainly like medium to large sizes enterprises that they realize that blockchain could be a real disruptor, provide a lot of benefits, but they don't know how.
Right.
So we come in. We have our team is made of former consultants, Deloitte, McKinsey, PwC.
Okay.
And the reason why we specialize in that area because it's very important to have an understanding how a business works. Oftentimes there's a lot of advisors out there that can help you with the ICOs, but taking basically a PDF to the fundraising, but integrating blockchain to an existing legacy system, process, and people, it takes a good understanding how business works. And so we go down deeper there, understand where the situation is today, what kind of system, legacy system, processes, and people, and obviously politics and red tapes are in place. And then we kind of build some sort of goals and future state. And say, okay, these are the options that you might have here with blockchain that might be able to kind of get you to your goal in terms of growth, or revenues, or customer acquisition, and so on. And then we define a roadmap. And we help them think about, okay, so here's where you are today, here's where you need to go tomorrow, how you actually operationalize your strategy. Okay. And so it's something that has been, it's very much like consulting style, McKinsey style. And we've seen that there are a lot more companies are interested in exploring that aspect. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of hybrids like ourselves that understand the traditional business side, but they also understand the blockchain side. So that's why we found what we call a golden niche. Okay. So we're one of the few companies in this space of blockchain transformation right now.
And the third.
Yeah, and we're very happy about it. We get a lot of inbounds, a lot of requests about it. We do a lot of education. We're working with governments to kind of go through that process. Okay. So it's been a really busy year.
And your third service?
That's tokenization.
Okay.
So tokenization, it's a quite interesting aspect. We always talk about blockchain. So most of the conversations right now with companies are with CTOs and VP of engineering. Good.
Well, that's at least good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Start off.
Absolutely.
They have to validate what blockchain, and if there is one that we need, do we really need? If there is one, do we really need it?
Correct.
And how do we implement?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Yeah, it starts always. It started always like that, right? So we have a VP of engineering that kind of start, hey, I've heard this buzzword blockchain, but not really sure what it really means, and you go in and explain and figure it out. But very few people are having conversation with CEOs, right, or CROs, or CEOs, like the business side of things. Yeah. And it's not really much about blockchain, but it's about tokens. Okay. It's about tokenization. that doesn't mean crypto.
Right.
It's not crypto,
right.
It's not ICOs, it's tokenization.
Tokenization has happened in gaming.
Correct.
For a very long time. There's a thousand different ways we can speak about tokenizing, loyalty and rewards points.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's funny how a lot of the innovations that we have today actually spun off of gaming.
Oh,
if you think about
the gaming and loyalty. Let me tell you,
yeah.
the gaming and loyalty industry, right?
Yeah.
The airline points. If folks understood those two sectors and the best practices of payment industries,
yeah.
right? Payment industries standards, best practices, they would propel
forward
past so many companies right now
yeah.
that are out there that have raised money already.
Yeah.
And I don't think they understand that there are best practices already out there.
I think that you're absolutely right. I think there's a little bit of malignancy from the older guys. I wouldn't say older guys, but the more established companies. Older regime,
yeah.
and more established companies. You know, how they see gamers
yeah.
and that culture. I think there's a cultural divide up.
Right.
Make them skeptical.
And
whatever is yeah.
And they're looking at the culture when it's an actual lever. No matter what is masqueraded with on top of it, there's an actual lever pulling and creating an action.
Yeah.
Payments, gaming, it doesn't matter.
The truth is in the eyes of the beholder, right? So where somebody sees a problem, somebody else may see an opportunity, right? Which is great.
Right.
But I'm saying like these conversations are very interesting, unique right now. We're getting a lot of inbounds about these companies saying, okay, I understand blockchain. I don't fully understand it, but I understand what it does.
Right.
I don't want to have anything to do with ICOs. But let's talk about token, right? So we start kind of educating them and say, you know, there are multiple ways that you can actually benefit from tokenization.
Right.
The first simple use case is the incentive mechanism that everybody knows, like points.
Once again, loyalty and reward
points.
Loyalty
rewards, right? So you think about incentivizing your stakeholders, like your employees, for example. You can use tokens to incentivize.
Next up, we have a panel, how blockchain affects the America's emerging economics.
Annoyed that I can hear you.
Come on, this is Vegas.
Mind you, you know who that is? That's our editor-in-chief for Cointelegraph.
No shit.
How was it?
No way, right?
Magazine. Thank you, panelists.
Okay.
Okay.
Was that it?
So that, no, probably not. But
was there also like a conclusion part?
You know what I like? That's how we wrap you up.
Seriously.
Just, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
the tokenization, yeah.
That was so damn funny.
That's okay.
So a token economy.
Yeah. So the first use case for tokenomics, tokenization.
Hold on. Tokenomics.
Tokenization.
Wait, did you coin that word? Not to add another pun on top of what we're talking about.
No, I have not.
Okay,
I have not coined that.
You didn't coin tokenomics.
No, absolutely. It's been out there, and it's basically economics for tokens, right?
Simple.
But by the way, we have one of the most amazing token architects on the team, Scott Morris, who's instructor of Cornell. So he's helping us a lot with tokenizations of enterprises. Okay. But the idea is very, very simple. You have tokens as an incentive mechanism, right? So you incentivize your employees, partners, customers, stakeholders, and so on. The follow-up questions that we always get is that why can I use a point and I have to use tokens? Right. The points are passive, right? I give you a point, but I don't necessarily know who I send it to, who I give it to. If I do know, it's static. Right. Tokens are dynamic. You can program a code in there. You can decide what rights you want to provision, at what time. Right. Do they have an expiration? Think about product registrations. Think about warranty claims, leasing. So there's a whole suite of things that you can do with that. The second case for enterprise organizations is assets, asset tokenization. So think about companies own a lot of assets. And we don't think about that. Right. We don't. Right. You know, we think about retail assets like houses and cars, but companies own a lot of assets. Think about buildings. Even like I said, loyalty, Delta. The miles. Yeah, the miles. Right. Think about patents. Absolutely. Goodwill, machinery. So all these are dormant assets. Most of it are dormant, meaning assets are there, but not producing any value. Right. Like a machine is only producing value by staying active and producing, right, beyond 24/7. Buildings are there and are producing value by housing certain things. Patents are a defensive mechanism. but they're all things that are passive again.
Right.
So the tokens have the ability to activate, if you will, all these assets. So now you can actually tokenize a building.
Are you working with any IP right now that you've tokenized successfully and they've moved on to?
Good question. We are doing POCs with companies. It's very early stage right now. Deloitte came out with a spread on, I think it was Wired, a month and a half ago, about asset tokenization for enterprises, which proves that there's a big market for it, right?
Right.
And so that's a prime use case. A lot of the patents are not monetized. So there are people that are interested in maybe getting some technology from the iPhone or from the Google glasses or from a computer, right? Because want to own it. So you can monetize and you can fragment it. So you can put in $50. You can actually have something that can get monetized on the road and can pay dividends down the road if the patent is actually used. Or you can use patents that are currently being monetized in a regular term, but you can still monetize it in the secondary market through a token sale. So there's a lot of these discussions around cash. These are not discussions that you have with the VP of engineering. This is more discussions with CFOs, CEOs, COOs. And the last piece that we've seen there's quite of interest is the Tesla model.
Okay, talk to me.
Yeah, so do you have a Tesla?
Not yet.
Okay.
Right.
Neither do I. Neither do I, okay.
You know already.
We will.
There's a lot of people on order that are still on order.
It's still pending, right? It's
still pending.
Yeah, but the idea is like, so when you buy a Tesla, you have to put down a deposit, $1,000, right? And so Tesla used that deposit to start production runs.
Right.
It's just a working capital. So the idea is like, obviously you have companies like Apple that don't need cash because they have 300 billion, whatever amount, crazy amount.
More money than than anywhere.
But there are companies that are struggling with cash, and they have to start production runs. These are not startups, these are actually mid-market companies, 50 to 100 million.
So and you don't deal with startups for the most part?
We used to, not anymore. Mainly it's existing companies, serial entrepreneurs, people that can actually prove their worth in a sense. We have a very strict due diligence process. We have a due diligence team overseas that we engage to screen through the 300 white papers that requests that we get a month. And we pick one or two that we decide to advise or invest in. But going back to the token, I think the interesting part here is that you can actually not just tokenize a company or an asset, you can actually tokenize a product. It's the very essence of crowdfunding, but not for startups, but for mid and large companies. Where, let's say that a company like, I don't know, I would say come back to the Apple example, right? But I don't know, Roku, even Roku is coming out with a new Roku, right? Or Amazon is coming out with a new Amazon TV and so forth. They can tokenize a single product and get all the working capital they need to start productions without going back to the banks.
Without going through the ICO,
it's free
without
cash.
going through this crazy...
It's free cash flow, right? It's free working capital, which is great. So reduce their debt cost, right? But at the same time, there's a lot of advantages in terms of product registration, right? Because all these companies struggle, you buy your iPhone, you don't necessarily register the phone. Well, you don't have iTunes, right? But majority of the products out there, they don't get registered, right? So if you tokenize, you can actually be assured that through the distributor ledger blockchain, you keep track of whoever bought the product. So now you don't even have to do product registration. Because
you don't have to buy. That's another step that you do not take.
You activate it,
Absolutely.
and it's active.
Absolutely.
You can provision rights. You can give up rights, right? You can terminate rights, right? The product can stop altogether after a leasing period. You can do warranty claims because you already have that connection. Very simple.
You already have that without going through that long registration process.
So it's very easy. It cuts a lot of the costs, a lot of the overheads that actually maintain all these processes. Each of these processes have overhead costs and departments. Think about the departments for the warranty claims, or the product registrations. Like it's hundreds of people, right?
Too cumbersome.
Right. And so there's a lot of interest around that, how to use a better database like blockchain and tokens combined to kind of help kind of achieve those benefits and reap those benefits.
Okay, all right. Well, I thank you so much for this short but very insightful education on what's happening with BlockStars. And can you let our audience know exactly how to reach out to you or reach out to BlockStar?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I mean, you can find me on LinkedIn, on social medias. I don't check my LinkedIns. We get like, hundreds of requests.
I can imagine.
But you can always, there's a form there you can fill out, or you can reach out to us on our website, BlockStar. It's block-star.com, block-star.com.
All right, Christian, thank you so much, and it's always a pleasure to speak to you and get more information.
Absolutely, great.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Enjoy thank you.
All right, take care.